Today, we use our power to fell a god, and then seize our destiny. That means you're gonna die, bro. Yeah, that's pretty much me at the very end of this episode. Now, if you're wondering how I got there, and how I spoiled the ending right from the beginning of this episode, we have to go back, way back. Editor, rewind it. Whoa! I can't. This is just too much work. Do you know how long this episode is going to be and the amount of work that I'm going to have to do? Do you know how much of a problem that is for you and not me? I am in the past and you are in the future. Well, I mean, technically, you are in the present talking to me while I am talking to a future version of yourself, but also myself. Don't worry about it. Wait a minute. Why don't you just start the episode then? I just saw the future, and I will start the episode. It's time to game on, fellas. 20th episode edition.
Yes. The time has finally come, and we are finally talking about one of the best goddamn JRPGs ever made. Yes, I am making that statement because the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy is one of my favorite game series of all time, and each of them are tied for third place right behind Smash Bros. And Roller Coaster Tycoon. These games are that good, and that's why we are finally looking at the first in the series, Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So get ready for a gaming hour special, as this is going to be a long one, gamers.
Don't worry, voiceover guy. We already lost 70% of the audience when they saw we spoiled the ending right at the beginning of the episode, and we're probably going to lose another 25% after they realize we're not talking about the 3DS version at all. Sorry. Bye.
Yeah. Anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles is a real-time action-based JRPG that came out for the Nintendo Wii in Japan in 2010, and was translated into English for the European/Australian market in 2011. Some of you also probably know about Operation Rainfall, which low-key helped the game finally see release over in North America back in 2012. It also eventually saw a port to the new 3DS in 2015 and got a full-on remake back for the Switch in 2020, which also added a post-game story. For this Gaming Hour episode, we are looking at the definitive edition that came out on the Nintendo Switch.
Now, I want to take a moment to mention that I've played this game a handful of times. My first playthrough was actually on the 3DS, but I did play the original release via the Virtual Console on the Wii U. And then, I ended up playing the Switch version twice, and now a third time for this Gaming Hour episode. So that being said, this is a goddamn good game.
This is also a very long game, and I just wanted to say before we jump into the main storyline that I will not be covering any side quests, heart-to-hearts, and or other optional things that are a part of this game. I am also playing this game via New Game Plus, as it saved me a ton of time grinding and such. I also want to mention that I highly recommend that you play this game for yourself, as this game is a masterpiece, but I will be covering the story in this video as well, just in case you don't have, 30 plus hours to spare. You also can't go wrong with any of the versions of this game, but the Switch version is the most convenient and best looking graphics wise out of the 3 releases.
Alright gamers, it's time to visit the world of the Bionis and the Mechonis. Hope you are all ready to learn about this dank ass sword, the Monado.
The prologue starts off with the history of this world, the 2 giants fighting, Bionis and Mechonis. They basically did this grand old battle between each other and ended up killing each other in said fight. Over many eons, life started to develop on the Bionis, and it fast forwards to a year prior to the events of this game. You get to meet Dunban, Dixon, and Mumkar, who are Homs battling against the Mechon, these robots. Dunban also wields that red sword y'all will probably recognize, as he originally wielded the Monado prior to Shulk. They are battling for the protection of their race, and you learn some of these things fairly quickly.
I am Dunban, and I have the power of the Monado. Come on, you dang clankers. Who's next?
It comes pretty apparent that Dunban cannot control the power of the Monado, and this reflects later in the game. On top of that, Mumkar decides to dip out, but he gets surrounded by a bunch of mechon while Dunban and Dixon do one final push to take down the mechon scum. The camera does this crazy zoom out after their final push, and you get a taste of all the environments you'll be exploring on the Bionis. Then, enter the title screen, as that's the prologue, baby.
Damn. That's one way to open a game. Now it's time to do a time skip and get introduced to our main character, who is Shulk.
1 year after the battle, the game opens up on Shulk in a small field looking for some scrap. Ryan shows up, they fight a crab and some big ass bug, and then head back to town. This is also the part where I switch back over to New Game Plus, so the characters will be wearing something different other than their default clothing. Aside from that, they head back to Colony 9, which is their hometown. Shulk ends up returning to his lab to study the Monado some more, and there's a quick flashback to see that Dunban was badly wounded from the battle. He also tells Shulk a secret. What was that secret?
Shulk. Yeah, man? Come close. Okay. I have something to tell you. Your mom gay. Got him.
Nah, he basically says, now it's your turn. I mean, obviously, you saw Shulk wielding that sword in Smash Brothers. Anyway, you catch up with Dunban and learn that he has been healing from the battle while his younger sister, Fiora, has been taking care of him. Dunban also pretty much lost the ability to use his arm from the Monado. Fiora ends up heading to Shulk to give him some food and like, bro, do you not know how to eat a sandwich? You are not taking any goddamn bites, bro.
God damn, this sandwich is so good.
Actually, take off my you heathen.
Listen, you aren't Fiora, and I ain't Shulk. This is all a simulation, my dear Teto.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, they head back to the lab where you learn that the Monado can't actually hurt people, as Ryan ended up accidentally slicing up the lab. You got saved there, Fiora. Oh yeah, this is the most important thing, as Shulk accidentally activated the Monado as well, but ended up having a vision of what's to come in the game. Bro is spoiling the entire game more than I have, shaking my head. And I guess Ryan wanted to, Shulk to go with him to get some ether refills or something in this dank old cave. So, they end up getting to this thing to grab the thing, but some ancient robots come out of nowhere and attack them, but it seemed like they were actually activated by something else. Was that something else? I hope you didn't answer zombie toast monsters, because it's a full-on mechon invasion. So, the trio end up having to rush back to Colony 9.
And just like that, that's Chapter 1. A good setup for a game so far, huh?
Chapter 2 starts off with the mechon invasion. The local military is trying to shoot them down, and it turns out that the weird face mechon is a part of this invasion. Yeah, that is also an important thing, and you'll see why in a moment. Speaking of important, Dunban gets up and is ready to fight despite being a broken man. Hard cut to the colony where people are straight up just getting eaten by these robots. I would make a boar joke, but we gotta get to the lab. The face mechon ends up blocking the way to the lab, and the trio split up as Fiora goes to get like this tank weapon thing, while Shulk and Ryan fight off the invading mechon.
There's no end to these mechon. Am I right, Ryan?
Now it's Ryan time.
Oh, okay.
What a terrible ass joke. You know what isn't terrible? Dunban shows up with the Monado but is covered in electricity as he helps take out the surrounding mechon. They eventually make their way to a bridge where Dunban can't take any more of the Monado, so Shulk ends up taking up the sword and ends up being better with it than Dunban was, as he's able to see the future, as it's one of the hidden powers Dixon said the Monado has, according to Dunban. They end up trying to make their way to Fiora when the face mechon with some claws comes down, so they have to fight it. The downside is that the Monado can't actually damage this specific mechon, and they end up learning that the hard way, as the mechon stuns them from moving, and then it happens.
I have come to save the day.
No! Get the hell out of there! There's a big-ass robot, bro!
It's okay, this is what is supposed to happen. Goodbye, Shulk.
No! Oh, this is supposed to happen, I promise.
Yeah, sadly, Fiora goes toe-to-toe with this metal face mechon and ends up losing her life to this mechanical creature. Shulk then arises and says one of the most powerful lines in the entire game. damn. He's gonna kill him, and kill him he did not, because he's the little baby bench robot that gets stabbed in the face and then dips out of there because job well done, I guess. The aftermath of the next day is upon us as Shulk reflects on what has happened. He even had a conversation with Dunban, and Dunban pretty much told him to live the life that was given to you by Fiora as she sacrificed herself for the ones that she cared about. Shulk then goes out with Ryan on a revenge quest to take down the mechon that killed Fiora and attack their home. Dunban watches them leave as he says, "Oh, I'll join you when I'm all healed up or whatever," and then Dixon creepily watches from the shadows. Like, I see you there, old man.
And that wraps up Chapter 2, my dudes. Will Shulk get revenge on that mechon? Will you continue watching this video or come back later since you realize that the runtime is over an hour? Probably 2 hours. Nah, who am I kidding? You'll have this on in the background while you're vacuuming your house, so I'll see you in Chapter 14 when you finally realize that this video is still playing on your TV.
That's a weird joke that you stole from your Chats with podcast. Anyway, Chapter 3 starts off with a flashback of 14 years ago when both the Monado was found and how Shulk was apparently the only survivor out of this group of Homs that found the sword. Luckily, Dixon was there to rescue Shulk, and also that seems that he was a little weird that he just happened to be there. Oh well, this chapter goes on pretty quick because Ryan and Shulk travel through a cave. There's a bunch of like random ass monsters here and there, but they ain't important as the two end up resting in this cave. Shulk then ends up having some sort of like mysterious vision where he asks this mysterious figure if he wants to change the future.
Do you want to change the future?
Yeah.
Oh. Well then find the, true Monado or something.
Maybe the true Monado was the friend we made along the way.
Hey, there's a big-ass spider here that wants to kill me.
Huh? What the
Yeah, so Shulk has to find the true Monado, and then has a vision about Ryan getting murdered by a big-ass spider thing, but it's okay, because they're actually gonna get killed by some big-ass spiders. Man, I hate spiders. Oh no, there goes Ryan as he's actually gonna get murdered by that big-ass spider thing, but then Shulk unlocks a new Monado power that lets him protect Ryan from the big-ass spider thing. They defeat it, and make their way out of the cave. This reveals how massive the titans they live on are, and they realize that the enemy is on the other side of that ocean. All they need to do is cross that big sword bridge. Oh wait a tick, is that a robot spy? Is the robot eating someone? You probably have more questions and I don't have any answers just yet unless you skip ahead into the video.
Don't do that because it's time for Chapter 4.
Chapter 4 introduces the Gar Plains, which is probably the most famous location in the game. Not only does it have a killer soundtrack, but the stage also has one in Super Smash Bros. 3DS/Wii U and Smash Ultimate. Getting back on topic though, Shulk and Ryan find a buggy in the plains, and Shulk ends up having a vision of a boy who then they later save. Juju then takes you back to Colony 6, like a temporary camp thing, and you meet Sharla, who triggers another vision about a new face mechon and such. You also learn that Colony 6 and how it fell as well, but Juju ran off, I guess. Pesky kid. Fast forward to Shulk, Ryan, and Sharla heading to save him on some beaten trail that the vision has to come to the present, and now you need to fight some tentacle-ass mechon monster thing.
And don't worry, viewers, I already checked for you. There are at least 3 mechon tentacles on Rule 34, in case any of you were wondering. Saved you a click from having to look that up later. You're welcome.
And there's the reason why I hate narrating on this show. Shaking my head. Oh, there actually is 3 results. Anyway, you fight the mechon and get a new Monado skill to save Sharla. You then defeat that silly mechon hentai boss, or what's this? A new face mechon that can talk? Oh god damn it, they talk now? He ends up calling Shulk the Monado boy, and you can't really do anything against him, and he ends up taking the Juju kid back to the original Colony 6. Oh me, oh man, that's Chapter 4, bro.
I know we are now just passing Chapter 4, but I am trying my best to just do a quick summary of what happened in each chapter. Some chapters are going to be a bit meatier than others. With that being said, voiceover guy, next chapter please.
Yeah. It starts off with a flashback of what went down in Colony 6 and how Sharla's boyfriend, Gadult, wanted to stay behind and protect the people while Juju and her got everyone else out. Shulk, Ryan, and Sharla then decide to head to Colony 6 to save Juju and see if they can save anyone else. Once they get there, they have to sneak under the town through some old ether mines, and they eventually meet up with Otharon, who is like this military leader of this colony or something, I don't really know. He states that Gadult is gone and that Shulk has a vision about Otharon dying or something. Otharon gets pissed off and storms off like a chud, so the gang make their way down to the bottom of the ether mine, and honestly, this is kinda cool because you get to see how massive this mine is. You also get to ride this big rotating fan thing. Hell yeah.
I thought it was neat, okay?
They eventually make their way to the bottom, only to find out that the fat mechon with a face ate all the Homs but kept Juju alive. Like, you fat robot, you couldn't have saved me at least one bite?
Yeah, I have to agree with the voiceover guy. I am starving, and Ham sounded great.
Now it's Rhine time. Haha.
See? Now he gets it.
Cannibalism aside, you end up fighting this fatty, but of course the typical win the battle, lose the cutscene happens as the Monado can't hurt this face mechon. Luckily, the crazy Othoran guy comes out of nowhere and beats him up with that tank thing, but almost kicks the bucket, but luckily, Shulk and Rhine change the future for him. The fatty robot sinks into the green ether goop river, and then the party heads out of the mines.
You know what? I still think I am hungry. Get in my belly.
No.
Oh, to think, you didn't even fully use the Monado to beat me.
Fully use? Now it's Shulk time.
Yeah, that's right. Zord Fatty Fat is back, but he also reveals that Shulk hasn't been using the full power of the Monado this entire time. Then something absolutely crazy happens. They make it out, and a bunch of random-ass mechons show up along with the metal-faced one that killed Fiora. When all seems lost, Dunban and Dixon show up to save the day. Hooray! Just kidding, they suck, so a Telethia came out of nowhere and saved the day, and that's actually very important as it triggers another vision for Shulk, and you get spoiled of one of the major turning points of the game. Also, who is that mysterious dude who sent out Telethia in the first place? So many questions, so many chapters to get through. Yeah, and chapter 5.
Oh my Zanza. This is going to be a long episode. Already on page 7 of the script, and not even halfway through this goddamn game. But I will say that this game has been tight. Absolute cinema.
Chapter 6 is luckily a reflection chapter as they learn about the Telethia and make plans to go to Sword Valley to face the Mechon head on. But they also have to make a stop at Prison Island first, which apparently holds the power of the true Monado that Shulk saw in his visions. They then have to go through the Satrol March, which low-key has some of my favorite music in the entire game. It's also one of the most visually stunning places in the game. Well, I mean, cause just look at it. So epic, so poggers. The team ends up taking a break in this area under the big light pole thing to reflect on the journey thus far and the journey ahead.
Alright, so my love interest is dead, and I'm in this dank-ass forest. Hey Dunban, how are you feeling about all of this? Haha! Electric Nutbuster! Oh, Dunban, playing with your sword again?
Oh, Shulk, let's start a chain attack to finish him off.
This has nothing to do with the actual plot, by the way, but I know you Xenoblade fans are getting a kick out of me just using some of the quotes from some of the characters. That's for you.
Yeah, that was just a pointless cutaway gag, but you know what isn't pointless? The fact that they gotta collect some orbs or something. In order to get to the next area, they gotta go around to get these orbs for the stairs to pop up to climb up to the next area. Talk about a waste of time. Yeah, that was pretty pointless, huh? Well, don't worry. The side characters decide to dip out, and Dixon says something of foreshadowing interest. Okay. They climb to the top, and then Shulk asks for permission to use the sword from Dunban.
Hey, Dunban, can I please keep using this sword? Huh? Oh, yeah, sure, dude. You can keep using this sword. I got this one. Aw, sweet. I'm really feeling it.
Hey, shut up for a sec. Shut up. Yeah, Shulk feels like the Bionis is still alive, and cut to a scene where some people are being loaded into this big mechon. Yeah, that's right. The plot thickens.
This next chapter is going to get insane. And by insane, I mean get ready for some piss poor narrator guy to summarize it for you.
Alright, well that's rude. This chapter starts off with a lady battling a big Telethia, and she seems to be putting up a fight with this creature. Cut over to the gang whining about being hot, while Shulk ponders over the vision he had regarding Prison Island and the true power of the Monado. They then wander into the forest and end up finding that girl who was battling the Telethia. Shulk has a vision about her, and they have to go off to find some water ether crystals to heal this strange girl. Shulk then goes off on his own and ends up bumping into that strange voice he was hearing and chatting with. It turns out to be Alvis, who helped him unlock a new power of the Monado. What a strange guy that obviously has a connection to the plot of the game. Oh look, Ryan is coming.
Yo, Ryan, check out my friend Alvis.
Bro, what the hell are you doing? We are waiting for your dumbasses to come and help that lady with the bird wings on her head, and you're over here talking to a cactus that is somehow on a beach?
Wait, what? Huh. Oh, Alvis.
That cactus part doesn't actually happen, but I have to make it funny somehow, and if it wasn't funny, then sorry not sorry, I don't care. I guess Alvis dipped out since he obviously knows more than he appeared, so Shulk and Ryan head back to help out this strange lady. She then wakes up after the water ether blast healed her or something, I don't freaking know. And then she slaps Shulk for being a pervert. Like, bro, why were you touching her? We saw you, Shulk.
How dare you even get close to me? I'm royalty, you gross peasant boy.
Okay, ouch. That hurts more than you slapping me. Right in the feels, you know?
Guess you could say he's no longer feelings it. Haha.
That joke wasn't funny. Unsubscribe from Watersurf for making bad jokes.
Okay, wow. Breaking the fourth wall too? Even more pain. Ah, cringe.
I don't know why I was focusing on that slap, because Melia agrees to join the team, for now, and they make their way to the Nopon village. I guess these weird-ass Furbies call Melia the bird lady. I mean, yeah, she does look like a bird and a lady, so... Oh yeah, right, the plot. They meet up with the Nopon village chief, and Shulk has a chat with Melia since she wants to go fight this dino beast, aka the Telethia, alone. They end up convincing her, and then a new teammate joins the team, and it's one of those Furby-ass creatures. Ricky joins the team, and man, the whole entire cutscene just goes ham. I see the one with all the faces get memed to death on the various Xenoblade fan videos and subreddits, but it's great though, I love it.
What? Are you expecting me to do a joke with that? I'm just doing this to break up parts where I am yapping to keep the viewers engaged or something like that. I know. More fourth wall breaking.
Fast forwarding along, they set out to go battle the Telethia and have a pretty epic battle with it. Blah blah blah, they do the thing and eventually head back for Ricky to take all the credit for defeating the dino beast, only end up having to come along with the Hom-Homs because his children racked up more debt for him. Maybe you shouldn't have been having so much like Furby sex, bro. Wrap up your little Nopon ding dong next time. Shaking my head.
Wow, and I'm usually the one who makes those jokes.
They then head to Aerith Sea, which is directly above the big Nopon tree. Oh, wait a moment. Is that Telethia in some sort of lab with another bird lady? Yes. The plot thickens even more.
This plot is getting so thick like cake batter. That's all I'm gonna say on the matter. That rhymes.
Chapter 8 starts off with you making it to the Aerith Sea, and you see all these floating islands, and the big city that is where the High Intia live. Also, the soundtrack in this area is pretty sweet. Oh yeah, getting back on topic, Melia hears out the story from the gang, and they all head to Alchemoth to get clearance to Prison Island. This is also the part of the game where you find out that Melia is royalty, and she is greeted by the Capitol Guards.
See, I told you I am royalty. Now put these peons in some room away from everyone else.
Melia, I thought we were homies, bro.
Don't use such barbaric language with me.
Oh, I am not really feeling it.
Jokes aside, Melia heads to the council room, and you also get to hear that there is treachery afoot. Dun dun dun. Melia chats with the Emperor, aka her father, about her recent mission, and then finds out that Shulk and the gang were arrested because Shulk was flashing his big red sword in the city. Shulk, my man, you can't be doing that. Whatever though. Melia is also next in line for the throne, so she'll be the next empress of her people. Alvis also greets the gang and asks for them to be free. They also end up doing a task for them or something, but it's not that important, as Alvis assures the Emperor that Shulk is not a threat, but cannot see that far into the future despite being their all-knowing seer guy. Oh yeah. Melia also has to do the trial of the tomb to get the approval of her ancestors, but you also find out that something is amuck as some assassins go after the gang. It's okay though, because we beat them up, and also, did you know that Melia is half Homs and half High Intia according to their ancestor computer?
Your sister. You are half Hom.
So I've been being an absolute ass to Shulk for no reason.
Please insert no credits to generate an answer. Ew.
Damn, free trial expired.
The gang rushes to the tomb to help out Melia, but they also learn a bit more about Alvis and the Monado. Basically, the High Entia race sealed it away because some bozos found it, and that's why Shulk has it now. The gang fall into a pit because Ryan touches a button, and Melia continues to the tomb and learns that she is actually 80% Homs, as that is what her ancestors wanted, to dilute the bloodline of her people, which is also a big plot point later, by the way. Yeah, I'm gonna continue saying that. Oh, what's this? There's actually an assassin trying to take out Melia, and there's a Telethia there too? Whatever, man. The gang beats them up. She thanks the gang for helping them out, and it later is revealed that Melia is the hope for Bionis as foretold in the scrolls or some crap like that, I don't know. The gang is also about to chat about everything, but Shulk gets summoned to chat with the Emperor. He tells Shulk that he has to consider letting them into Prison Island, and then he also asks that if he'll be Melia's friend, not her protector. Alright.
So I have to be friends with her?
I'm sorry for being such a jerk to you.
Yeah, I guess apology accepted.
Good. Now I can start developing feelings for you.
Huh?
Nothing.
The Emperor also states that the Monado is important, as some of the scrolls said that the Bionis is going to awaken again. Then, crazy stuff happens as the Mechon begin their assault on the Bionis and head toward Alchemoth. End Chapter 8.
Congrats, viewers. We are now past the halfway point or something, as it's all the heavy plot points from here on out. Get ready for it.
Chapter 9 starts off with the Emperor seeing a vision of his future, which is pretty much going to happen, and then a big old ceremony where Melia gets sworn in as the crown princess. Also, Alvis is chatting with the suspicious High Entia, who is very suspicious, but his dream is going to be fulfilled, dude. Oh yeah, one more thing. You remember how at the end of the last chapter? Actually no, the Mechon are on their way to invade the capital. There is a silver-faced Mechon with them, or just a silver Mechon in general. The gang also go, and then they visit Melia in her flower garden. That's when Shulk sees another vision about the Emperor getting killed by Metalface. Then of course, Mechon are coming, so a big old battle in the sky happens. The Emperor goes to Prison Island and asks his son to lead the charge for now. The gang also get to see her brother and find out that, yup, her father totally went to Prison Island, so you know what that means.
We get to collect more orbs to advance the story! Yay.
This game and collecting things to go further, man. Anyway, some big sky whales fight back against the Mechon and ended up attacking the gang too, as that's their natural instinct or something like that. The Mechon also approach Prison Island, but then the Emperor does some like staff thing that puts the entire thing on lockdown. Also, there's a giant, by the way. I guess his name is Zanza, and he was locked away by the High Entia race a long time ago. The gang also makes it to Prison Island as well, and they have to work their way up through this massive tower thing. They also get to the part where Melia has to open up a big door too.
I am Melia Antiqua, and for the sake of our world, release the seal.
Wrong type of seal, you jackass. Anyway, doors open, and then Shulk has a vision about the shackles being released. Something is going to go down, so the gang gets to the top of the tower, and then Shulk remembers his vision, but something fishy is going on as Shulk gets welcomed as the true heir to the Monado. He also states that the Monado is to oppose the Mechonis. He also lets them know that the Monado is held back and he can release the shackles if he is released from his, handcuffs or whatever the hell those are supposed to be. Oh yeah, the Mechon are preparing a spear, and it has a green glow to it. Ominous, my dude, but that's not important as Shulk releases Zanza, and the giant releases the shackles from the Monado, but ends up getting killed by Metalface as it stops the Monado from reaching its full potential. The silver Mechon also has like a telepathic chat with Zanza, only to be interrupted by Shulk, who is trying to attack it. The silver Mechon also didn't want to hurt him, and only wanted to talk with Zanza, and that's when Metalface starts going ham and attacking everyone in the party. Dunban also thinks that Metalface is someone that he knew, and the Emperor attacks Metalface only to be killed mere moments later. Shulk then asks for the full power, and Zanza telepathically communicates with them to let him know that the Monado has already been unshackled, and then he does this.
The shackles have been broken. Wield the sword, it bends to your will. Think of your enemy, and the power to defeat them is yours.
Bro, why did you have to moan after that, you goddamn freak? Anyway, the Monado changes shape and then they kick Metalface's metal ass. He is then going in for revenge, and the silver mechon has a person controlling it. Wait a minute, Fiora is controlling the mechon? Holy f***, bro. It is clear that it actually isn't Fiora, and the face mechon retreat for now as the gang run after them, desperately trying to find out why and see how. They have all these questions, you know? The Emperor lets the gang and Melia know that this was always his fate, but he is proud of Melia as he believes she will be worthy of her name, and he believes in the you that believes in her, or some Gurren Lagann saying, I don't know. He dies, and Shulk tells Melia to make those mechon bastards pay for what they did. And lastly, Alvis chats with the embodied voice of Zanza, and Zanza tells Alvis that there is a storm on the horizon in Chapter 9.
And with that, the game is now really going plot-wise. Are you ready for it? Probably a good idea to pause the video, go pee, and get some snacks. Or heck, come back to this on your next lunch break. It's intermission time.
We don't do intermissions here. Melia ends up putting her brother in charge for a year, and they propose a counterattack against the mechon. The gang also reflects on Fiora, and Melia learns a little bit more about Fiora. I guess Melia has feelings for Shulk? Anyway, Shulk goes to talk with Dunban since it's, he is Fiora's older brother, and Dunban says that he always thought Shulk should be the best person to be with Fiora, if you know what I mean. That's also when they all decide to get her back regardless of her memory loss. Oh, and Shulk gets asked to be the Homs representative against the mechon assault, but he wants to go look for Fiora with the gang. Melia ends up having to stay behind, but Charla clocks her feelings for Shulk, but luckily Melia has a doppelganger that can stay in her place. Phew. Alvis then joins them as they head to the Valak Mountains, all while Fiora's mechon is being worked on, and questions Zanza's actions. Oh yeah, I guess this Fiora is someone completely different, and the new Fiora has feelings for Shulk and wants to see him again. She then heads out, but of course, Metalface follows. The gang makes it to the ruins in Valak Mountain, and we don't need to talk about the slide incident either.
I'm going to interrupt you here and say that this slide part is stupid. Look at it. Yeah, it's stupid, and I hate it. Do you know how many times I died here?
These ruins actually contain the Monado, and they learn more about how the Monado changes the ether around him and some future stuff again. They then head out again until they make it to this big ol' open snowy field where Fiora confronts them. Shulk of course runs over there and pleads with her that she must remember them.
Fiora, listen! If nothing else, you must remember your family. That's Dunban over there.
Come on, lady! You must remember him! That's Dunban over there! Look at him!
I have never met this man in my life.
Wait, why do you sound like a knockoff Miku now? Like, you already sounded like a knockoff Vocaloid, but now you sound like a knockoff Miku. Like, what the hell's going on?
I plead the fifth.
Fiora has to talk with Shulk about how something important, and that's when Metalface attacks her, and surprise, surprise, Mumkar was Metalface the entire time. I bet you are as shocked as I am. Probably not, but you just found out that this maniac is a big old loony as you kick his ass. That's when the unspeakable happens, and Egil, the leader of the Mechonis, shows up. Yeah, this big old golden mechon would wipe the floor clean with us, but luckily he just takes Fiora and then they all leave together. Shulk and the gang run after her as Chapter 10 comes to a close, and now they have to make their way to Sword Valley.
Damn, that's crazy. Next chapter.
It is crazy, as Chapter 11 starts off with them needing to get her back. They make their way into Sword Valley, and it appears that the sword is draining ether from the Bionis. Probably an important thing for later, so keep that in mind. As they make their way into Sword Valley, they catch up with Dixon, who offers some support and another foreshadowing moment. Ego also questions Zanza and Fiora's actions in a cutscene, but the gang make their way through the valley and eventually go through this port access thing to get to the actual Galahad fortress, but what's this? Mumkar is back to fight, and he has reinforcements this time. They also have special weapons that can kill anyone from the Bionis, and Dunban almost gets to kill Mumkar, but Shulk stops him because he doesn't want to get revenge anymore anymore, but instead wants to learn the truth of why this is all happening. Mumcar didn't care though, as he ends up getting himself killed for being too reckless. Oh yeah, the ether weapons that are also being studied by Alvis and the other bird lady. Who cares, as Shulk has a vision about Fiora, and they make their way into the fortress, which so happens to confirm their theory about the ether as they shut down the machine that was taking it from the Bionis. This is also where things get interesting as they make their way into the maintenance bay and run into Fiora, but she isn't being controlled by her mechon.
I don't want to fight you, Fiora.
Me neither, but this guy in our said you must die. Please run by.
You have no more sword, boy.
Huh? What did you do? There's no more zappies.
Now you just have a prop, boy. What are you going to do now?
Well, I mean, nothing, but here's the voiceover guy to talk about it.
And talk about it I do indeed, as Egil shows up and uses some red magic spell to stop the Monado from working. He also says that it was controlling Fiora all along, but Fiora breaks out of it and fights back. That's when the real Fiora calls out to the person controlling her body to save Shulk. Everything goes to hell and starts to fall apart as Fiora falls off and Shulk goes and dives after her. Like, bro, why would you do that?
Huh, I didn't think this one through. Maybe move on to chapter 12, please.
Okay, fine. Shulk starts off with a dream about him falling through the ground, and he looks at himself while he falls. Then he awakens on a beach and finds Fiora and her mechon. He pulls her out and went to go get her some water. She won't take the water, so bro baby birds it into her mouth.
Oh my Zanza, she needs water. Whoa, take me out, babe.
My dude, that is not how you go and kiss a girl. Like, who decided that was okay to write and then animate? Alright, whatever. She wakes up and remembers Shulk because that goddamn wet kiss probably brought her back to reality. She then says that someone has been controlling her body this entire time, but she was conscious during it or something. They then go to look for the others, but Fiora has to take a break as she needs some more water.
Huh? You need more water, babe? Okay, I got you. Oh my god.
What's there for?
Yeah, I agree with her. What the f, bro? Anyway, cut to Ryan and Sharla, who head out to look for the rest of the gang, but luckily catch up with Shulk and Fiora fairly quickly, which is a good thing because Shulk still can't control the Monado fully, and he was about to be attacked by some mechon. They all catch up and head out again, but only to get greeted by some mysterious figures. So let's go ahead and cut over to Dunban, Ricky, and Melia, who end up taking a break as Ricky noticed Melia was getting tired. Dunban tells Ricky his story, which pretty much was about his sister Fiora, and it's obvious that Shulk and Fiora like each other. Even the weird Furby knows it.
Huh? Fiora likes me? I better give her a kiss then.
Bro, just no. They eventually head out and stumble upon a small town of Machina people, which are people that are born of the Mechonis. They also find the rest of the gang too. Melia finally gets to meet Fiora, and she seems super jealous. Man, it's so obvious. Shulk is oblivious though. Fiora has also been having issues with her mechon body, and the doctor in the town takes a look at her, while everyone else talks with the village chief, Mikko, who then asks him to kill his son Egil. Dun dun dun, the plot begins.
I hope you have some popcorn left, because things are gonna get interesting, gamers. Whoa.
Chapter 13 starts off with a group of homes and Nopon gathered at the High Entia capital to talk about an allied force. Dixon then dips out to deliver a message to Shulk, and you also find that this Lady Mainith is the Machina god. The gang also questions why he wants to kill Egil, and they find out that he is on his own revenge mission to destroy the Bionis. Fiora then asks to be fixed up to fight along Shulk, and then Dixon shows up. Man, this guy really knows where everyone is, and somehow this bro knows the Machina. Yeah, something is shady is definitely up. Anyway, Shulk is told that his team can just go in and focus on battling, while the allied force fights in Sword Valley. Fiora also says that Shulk will always find the right path, and then they head to the Mechonis capital. Oh yeah, Egil is also removing memories from Homs, and this specific one happens to know Sharla. Oh me, oh man. The gang makes their way out, and wait a minute, why does it look like that Bionis is doing a Gotham hand at me?
Ah, dang it! I've been Gothamed! And so have you, audience. Look at this! Oh yeah, double got him, bro!
They start climbing up the Mechonis through this mechanical wonderland and eventually make their way outside where they set up camp. Charlotte then has a convenient memory of Gadol, which is super funny because they are being watched by a face mechon that may or may not be related to this situation. They then head out, climb up the giant some more, and eventually get confronted by that Jade mechon, which is actually Gadol. Yeah, that's crazy, huh? He don't remember Charlotte at all, as his priority is to kill, and kill he does do indeed, as he fires a big old bomb at them, all while Fiora's eyes glow. Do they survive? Find out next time on Xenoblade Chronicles.
Obviously they survive, so we're gonna move on to chapter 14 now.
We start off with Ego preparing his master plan, and then he has a flashback of Zanza, then the Mechonis starts to rumble. Shulk is also floating in space for some reason, and he starts to have a conversation with Alvis about changing the future, and trying to find his Monado.
I found it!
No, not that Monado, you heathen. Shulk also has this weird flashback thing where he's told that he isn't here anymore. He isn't real, bro. Foreshadowing much? And before you ask, the gang also survived because they are protected by Lady Meyneth, only for Vinea, Mikol's daughter, to have a good old chat with them. She lets them know that this new-faced mechon has no memories or emotions, so they can fight properly against the Monado. Apparently Zanza made the Homs and was friends with Egil at one point. Dang, lore goes crazy. And in case you were wondering, the Allied force starts their battle in Sword Valley, and now it's time to spend way too goddamn long working through this factory, which takes them to the Mechonis capital that has all the answers apparently. Blah blah blah, cut to the battle with the Mechon. Then it happens. You see the devastation of the Mechonis capital and sort of start to understand why Egil is so angry. There are also all these Telethia all over the place, but they are like stone dead, literally. They head to the data center tower and finally learned the past of what happened. Lady Meyneth takes over Fiora's body to explain everything and how Zanza would be reawakened, and goes into lore stuff. Shulk is also the one who wields the Monado, and why Lady Meyneth chose Fiora as her host because Fiora is close to Shulk. We gotta believe in the you that believes in the me, bro.
There he goes with that Gurren Lagann crap again.
They make it to the teleporter only to be confronted by Gadolt. The gang tries to reason with him, but he's too far gone. Then Fiora tries to break his curse as the gang knows that he was missing Charlotte on purpose, since the heart always remembers, and Gadolt says that Egil was controlling him, as Egil is consumed by his own vengeance against the Bionis. Gadolt then breaks out of his cult to tell Ryan to take care of Charlotte, as the gang go up to face Egil. Alvis then has a sense that the Bionis is going to reawaken. Uh-oh. Egil then tells the gang that life on Bionis only existed to feed itself, and then they fight him as they couldn't really reason with him. Then, one of the most powerful scenes happens in the game.
Your blade. It did not come deep enough.
Why? Why won't you die?
Your Monado is not hard enough to penetrate me, boy.
Oh.
No, that is not what I meant.
Joking aside, this is a really emotional moment as all seems lost as Egil calls Shulk Zanza for some reason. What does he mean by that? Fiora then stands up against Egil, but doesn't really do much since Egil dips out of there and goes over to take over the Mechonis. The gang must now get out of there because it's going to move, bro. They all run away from this big ass blast of light, and then Gadolt comes out of nowhere to protect them from further harm. End chapter 14.
What a trooper.
Chapter 15, the massive turning point in the game as the Mechonis begins to move and all the troops on the battlefield of Sword Valley start to retreat. The gang was also saved by Lady Meyneth and are floating until she can no longer hold them, but it's okay because the junk ship comes out of nowhere to save the day. These Machina people are so cool. Also, Dixon is there for some reason. They then return to the Machina village, only for Dixon to start acting shady again. The gang also head out on the junks to go back to the Mechonis, and Vinea apologizes to Fiora for putting Lady Meyneth in her body, but it's all good, bro. Now do a Death Star ass run through the Mechonis. They make their way inside, only for Shulk to sense something is wrong, as he was wondering why he was called Zanza, and then I guess the Monado didn't like that, so it zapped him to all hell.
I'm sorry for making bad jokes all episode, please stop!
The gang help him out, and press on forward as Shulk continues to get in his own head about everything that has been going down. Fiora then tells him to chillax, bro, and then they run off skipping into the sunset as Melia gets freaking cucked or something. Yeah, Melia definitely has feelings for Shulk, but this weird love triangle is going to continue on, I guess.
Shulk, I like you.
Damn, that's crazy. Sorry, I don't want to water kiss you at all. Yuck.
Ew, gross. Maybe it is I who wanted to water kiss you.
Moving right along, the Mechonis ends up whacking the Bionis arm, and then the gang makes it to the core so they can shut off the device that's been hindering the Monado, so it's all fixed now. Alvis also states that he can't really see to the future, as something is blocking his vision. They make it to Egil, and he is basically wants to kill the Bionis so there is no more gods. Shulk then gets super pissed off and a weird voice tells him in his head to kill him, but Shulk has a flashback of everything going on and can't bring himself to actually kill Egil.
Why won't you strike me down? I thought you wanted to save your foolish people or something.
I just can't do it. I just need to know one thing first.
What is that, foolish Ham creature?
Do you want me to water kiss you too? It's not gay if I say no homo first, if that's your concern.
What the f***? It's 2026. You can't say that anymore, boy.
Shulk cannot kill Egil and will continue to fight him as long as he doesn't take any more lives. Is he really the master of the Monado? Anyway, backstory time about how Argulus was the giant, but Zanza took over his body. Zanza is the Monado, and the Monado is Zanza. Shulk just wants to live in peace, but then he gets shot in the back by Dixon. L move, Dixon. See, I told you he was a bad guy.
Dixon! Why would you do that, you old fool?
He said he was gonna water kiss Egil, and I wanted to water kiss him. Not cool.
Oh, I mean, that's a little weird, but I guess I respect it.
Chapter 15 is done, and Chapter 16 picks up right where Shulk falls to the floor dead, but Egil caught him while the rest of the gang tries to revive him. Dixon says he always has a job to do, and it turns out that he is the real Zanza's disciple. Zanza then pops out of Shulk and says he was merely a shell as he needed a body to survive and regain his strength.
Hey losers, looks like I'm gonna be part of this Gaming Hour episode. Ah, great. Not this chud. I'm taking over this Gaming Hour episode now. And yes audience, you probably don't know who I am, and that's probably for the best. But the important thing is that this Gaming Hour episode is now a part of the Watersurfing Connected Universe playlist thing. The end card.
Ah, great. That guy is here. Shaking my head. Anyway, Zanza said Shulk's visions came from Zanza itself, and he decides to take over the Bionis as he was the original soul for it. Egil and Zanza fight in the Titans, only for Egil to pretty much get defeated by Zanza, as, you know, Zanza is just one messed up god. Then everything seems bleak. Lady Meyneth takes over Fiora and they do an epic showdown, Fiora versus Zanza. It all seems bleak again, and then Lady Meyneth pops out of Fiora to protect the gang with one final blow.
You will leave these people alone.
I was wondering you're gonna show yourself. Living in that silly Vocaloid over there isn't good for you, as you are the true Vocaloid. Too bad you can never, match my epic singing. Global climate change, am I right, ladies? Woohoo!
The future belongs to them, not you. Leave the Gaming Hour episode and never return.
No, Miku, you're dead now.
Oh, dies in Miku.
Oh, cool. Now I have two swords. Now I will rule the Gaming Hour episode world thing or whatever. And this will be my show now. Tee-hee!
Going a little ham here, but this really happens. Lady Meyneth tells them to create a world with no need for gods, and then turns into swords. Zanza then picks them up and starts the process of letting the Bionis return to him. He returns to Prison Island and begins the ritual. The people of the High Entia start to turn into Telethia, as that's what they were always supposed to do, and that's why Melia's ancestors try to dilute the bloodline with Hams. Egil tells the gang that he has one last thing to do, and the gang get out of there. Zanza and Egil do one last showdown, but the Mechonis and Egil die in the process. Egil dies a hero. The gang escapes only to be met with a Telethia, Dixon, and one of the High Entia people who has been a traitor this entire time. Luckily, Melia's brother shows up and they all get turned into Telethia themselves. That's not really lucky now, is it? He ends up taking control and pretty much does like a kamikaze to take down the enemies right after telling Melia that she is the hope for the High Entia and the world. In Chapter 16.
And just like that, the final chapter is upon us. Get ready for a long one despite the script already being 20 pages long. Here we go.
The final chapter is upon us, and it starts off with Shulk floating in space, remembering that he just died and begins to question his life. Was he truly alive? What was the purpose of his life if he was a shell for a god? He was Zanza all along, and now his dreams all make sense.
I'm having an existential crisis in the middle of space. Just leave me alone, bro.
Back in the real world, Shulk is merely asleep, and Fiora tries to reach him by showing him the Monado. You dumbass, New Game Plus Fiora, he can't have that sword anymore. It's supposed to be this like green techie sword. Shaking my head. Anyway, the gang chats about accepting their fate, while Alvis questions them if they won't just submit, but they are Homs, goddammit, and they won't give in that easily. Fiora then heads out to get some air, and Melia follows to chat with her. Fiora says that her Monado is gone, as the thing on her chest was originally Maineth, but Zanza stole it. She also wants to continue fighting despite being on her last of her stored energy. Melia also finds out that Fiora truly loves him, and that's when I feel like she gives up on the idea of being with Shulk, but that's not really important as a siren goes off. A group of Telethia show up with Dixon, ready to take down the rest of them, as that is Lord Zanza's bidding or whatever. Oh hey, Shulk is still floating in space and has a chat with Alvis about why Shulk and his team are living outside of fate because they have the power to take him down. Shulk has always been able to choose his own fate as he changed the future that he was shown. What will he do? And will he be able to find his own true Monado?
I'm me, and me is also me. Maybe it is I who can change my own future by walking down the path that I truly believe.
Is that what you wish?
Bro, I don't know. Just let me wake up and continue this plot along, okay?
Very well.
Shulk apparently already knows what Alvis is, and he awakens. The rest of the gang battle the Telethia. They eventually get surrounded, and Dunban is willing to take a moment to seize his own destiny, as the future is theirs to shape. Then Shulk comes out of nowhere and takes out the big Telethia. He still also has the ability to see the future. It feels like they are now able to turn the tides, but then Alvis betrays them, as he is one of the Trinity. The gang is also angry, but Shulk says it's no biggie, bro. Alvis then asks them if the world belongs to them or to Zanza. Dixon and Alvis retreat because Dixon was afraid like a little bench he is. Anyway, the gang chat with each other about getting ready for the final battle, and then eventually make their way to the internal side of the Bionis and travel through its core. They travel through this weird alien landscape as is the internals of the Bionis, and they eventually make it into the area with the big old heart, and that's when Lorathea, the High Antia trader, confronts them and says something about how there's a surprise in the heart or something. They make their way into the heart only for Lorathea to show off the Telethia that Melia's brother turned into. Then she does this.
He is my adorable servant. That which Lord Zanza does not require shall be extinguished from this world.
You'll pay for what you have done to my brother and the High Antia people.
Yeah, you'll also pay for that gross-ass kiss. Where was the water?
Shulk, what's the
Also, is it too late to get in that action? I want to merge with y'all too, if you know what I mean.
Please stop this. Just stop.
The gang fights that abomination of a Telethia and end up winning, of course, and that's when Lorathea realizes she messed up. Melia gets to have one final goodbye with her brother. The Telethia blows up and her brother ascends to the heavens as it's now up to Melia to save her people. Melia then sheds a tear for her brother's final words, and Ricky also got to hear it. Man, what a cool ass Nopon. Oh yeah, Dixon shows up and tells them to head to the prison island as that's where it'll all go down. Luckily, there's a teleporter right here in the heart.
We are now at the second and final half of Chapter 17. And yes, I'll be skipping through most of the journey of Prison Island because even on New Game Plus, it's kind of a slog.
So the journey through Prison Island is just a lot of random battles. First there's this battle in a Coliseum and Dixon is like, yeah, you fight this guy. And then after that, there is another thing to advance forward and you fight a dragon for some reason. Luckily after that fight, you make your way up to Dixon and then it cuts to the remaining allied force fighting against the Telethia. This is also interesting because some mechons show up to help in the fight as they're on the same side as the Homs now. Cut back to the gang to go up against Dixon, and Shulk thanks him for raising him before Dixon transforms into this weird giant creature. They then proceed to kick his butt, and Dixon eventually just gives up because he knows he's beat. The gang walk off, and Dixon dies off screen. Fiora also points out that Dixon was badly wounded, and Shulk is upset that he had to kill him, but they must progress on. Zanza is marveling himself, but then he learns he cannot see past the future when he is confronted by Shulk and his friends. He also finds out that both Lorithia and Dixon were killed and gets pissy that such mortals can defeat them. Speaking of mortals, our ragtag team of goobers makes it into the space realm where Zanza has been hiding out. You make your way through each of the planets fighting spirits of former bosses or something until you make it to the moon and Earth. Alvis is excited to see what path Shulk is going to choose, and then the gang are now in the face of Zanza. Zanza offers Shulk an ultimatum if he wants to be a god/immortal with him or fight a god. Of course, Shulk denies this offer, and Melia asks about the High Entia as they are apparently made to destroy all the life on Bionis. Man, what a bunch of jokers.
Oh, he said the thing! He said the thing! Who are you talking to?
Yeah, what is with this guy?
Pay no attention to me and my fourth wall breaks. Now, let's fight since you guys are eager to die. I got 2 swords.
Zanza says this team is dangerous, and they fight Zanza in his first phase. Zanza then levels up and he questions Shulk, but the future is not set in stone, dummy. Shulk says our destiny is our own, and Shulk gets a level up as well, as now he has the god-slaying Monado. Now, they are ready for the third and final phase.
Look at my team of people, bro. You are no match, and you need to get back to wherever you belong. Stop taking over my gaming hour series, you clod. The audience is gonna be so freaking confused. How could this be? Why would you write the script this way? I thought I was cool, bro. Global climate change. Today we use our power to fell a god and then seize our destiny. Hey, no, you can't do that. This is my show now, and you can't do that. Yeah, it's time for a chain attack. Dunban, Ryan, Melia, let's kick this guy's ass. Voiceover guy, can you cut away from me, please? Thanks. They're gonna kick my ass.
Shulk, it is time for you to choose. Does this world belong to Zanza, or does it belong to you?
That is something I decided long ago! That's simple. Today, we use our power to fell a god, and then seize our destiny!
He then slices him in two, and Alvis shows Shulk how this world came to be. Zanza and Meyneth were people prior to this, but they did some weird-ass science experiment that split the universe in two. Remember that because it's important for Xenoblade 2, by the way. Oh yes, Zanza made this universe but wanted a friend, but ended up getting drunk with godlike powers as the people didn't worship him enough or something. Alvis is also a computer and lets Shulk know that this world is about to expire and asks what he wants to do with it. His friends then tell him what they would say, and Shulk then wishes for a world with no gods and just to exist as life comes. A new universe is born, except it makes it seem like everything just started over for where it left off. Then fade to black.
So yeah, I guess that's the story of how I stopped being a god in this Gaming Hour episode. I guess I'll make some cameos in the Gaming Hour episodes in the future, but I'll probably just stick to the Watersurf connected universe outside of the Gaming Hour, you know, like those idea factories and whatnot. Also, they kicked my ass pretty good. Oh yeah, here's the epilogue of the episode or whatever. Voiceover guy, that's you.
The epilogue starts off with walking around town from Fiora's perspective. Everything seems back to normal, except everyone is living together. The Machina, the High Entia, the Homs, and the Nopon. They are all living peacefully together. Fiora also chats with Melia about the future that is awaiting us all. Ryan, Charla, and Ricky and Juju are catching a fish but do a bad job. Fiora then meets up with Shulk, and it turns out that Fiora is back to her old self but with a new haircut. It all seems like everything is back to normal, for sure, as Fiora and Shulk are back to their old silly bantering. Shulk then remembers what Alvis said to him, but as he doesn't know what the future holds, and Alvis says that he can see the future clear as day. which is just all forms of life walking toward the future together. Shulk then says that we must face this future together as the camera zooms out on this new world that they built for themselves, then fades to black as the credits roll.
And just like that, the base game of Xenoblade Chronicles is over. What a goddamn treat of a game. But guess what? We aren't done yet, as there is a story that takes place 1 year after the events of this game. We are now shifting gears and quickly talking about Xenoblade Future Connected. This story is mainly for Melia and helps connect everything together for future games.
Now just a quick note, this game is a bonus that comes with the definitive edition that comes on the Switch. It apparently was made as the original guy who made the game felt bad for Melia and wanted to give her a final story. This also sort of helps connect the first game with the third game a smidge, but we'll quickly go through this. It starts off with Shulk and Melia fighting the shoulder of the Bionis while flying around on the junks. They get shot down by something in the Alchemath capital, and then they have to protect some Nopon that were up there as well. The Nopon are apparently Ricky's kids that snuck on the ship. They eventually go exploring and stumble upon the small village of High Entia. They are apparently soldiers from the High Entia Guard, and they also let them know about the camp of other refugees on the other side of the shoulder. Oh yes, there's also this weirdo who, idolizes Melia, which is a little weird.
Melia, I'm your biggest fan. Can I touch your hair?
No, off, dude.
Listen, creep, if you want to impress a girl, you just gotta water kiss her, bro. Like my shirt?
Shulk, just no. Stop it.
Fine, I'm just gonna go order a statue so I can look at it all day in my room. Bye.
I hate weeaboos.
Joking aside, this High Entia fella has a weird parasocial relationship with Melia because she is of pure blood, even though the only High Entia that really survived this were the ones that were half Homs. That's not important, as I spent some time collecting some random Nopon Explorer to make the game a smidge easier. I also forgot to mention that there is no new game plus for this one, so I had to grind to get to a desirable level. The Nopon Prospectors are a big side quest that you can do, but I didn't fully bother completing it because the drag at the end was just too hard for me, plus I just wanted to wrap up filming.
Oh my Zanza, bro. Who the hell cares? Just get on with the plot.
Yes, quite. Shulk and Melia make their way to the capital, discover a young boy in peril, and then attempt to fight the Fog King. The Fog King apparently took over the capital and has ruined the lives of the many people who still live here, and that's why all the soldiers separated from everyone else as they got big mad or something. Anyway, they go back to the lab of the kid they found, as he was apparently trying to work on a way to turn the Telethia back into their High Entia selves, but also Tyrea is there. Tyrea was the High Entia that tried to kill Melia in the temple room, but I'm already getting to way too much details. Oh yeah, that creep is also still creeping in the background. You know what isn't a creep? The village of random Homs, Machina, and High Entia that the soldiers separated from. There is also just a lot of people that don't like the other people, but I guess the Machina said that they're tired of dying to the Fog King for no reason. Shulk and Melia then head back to Alchemath to learn that the rift has expanded, and now all the animals in the area are acting weird. That's a problem because there are animals in the town with all the people. Oh no.
Come on, speed this up, please. Come on, episode's too long. Come on.
Alright, fine. Fast forward to the lab, and that creep tries to stop the research as he doesn't want the High Entia race to come back, as the mixed race of Hom and High Entia are the pure bloods to him. Like, bro, this guy is just messed up. He is so messed up that he blew up the lab. Luckily, Melia goes in and saves a book that is helpful for future research, but she almost died in the process. This is also where they learn that there is a possibility to defeat the Fog King as well. Melia and Shulk then have to get the soldiers back on the side of the refugees, so they do because the monsters are now attacking like crazy, basically to protect them. They then head to face up against the Fog King, as now they have powered up weapons. This is it, the final battle.
I am Melia Antiqua, and you, Fog King, will be defeated by my power.
Hey Melia, should I water kiss the Fog King?
Why are you like this?
The Fog King puts up a fight, and they give it everything they got to defeat this weird-ass beast. The Telethia start to protect them by crashing into the Void Thing, and Melia charges up a secret attack to finally put this weird creature in the grave. She then Kami-Kami-Ha's it out of existence, and the day is saved thanks to Melia. They then return to the village with the good news, and the credits roll. The credits also show them fixing up Alchemoth and such. Then after the credits roll, Melia gets sworn in as the Empress of the Hyentia, and thus connecting this game to the third one, and technically the second one, but yeah, that's future connected.
And just like that, we are done with both the main game and the expansion game. I don't really have any final jokes or anything, and I just want to let you know that this is an amazing start to a perfect trilogy of JRPGs. So I guess I'll wrap up this video with my final thoughts.
Xenoblade Chronicles holds a special place in my love for gaming. This game is a long-ass game, but it is worth the journey that it tells, and it is definitely worth the journey if you decide to play the second and third one as well. I will admit that I think Future Connected isn't really worth playing more than once, as I sort of rushed through it on this playthrough. I guess at the end of the day, is that you made it this far into the episode, and I thank you for that. I did my best trying to summarize this game with some funny jokes. I'll be covering the second and third game on the show both for the 30th and 40th episode of the series, so keep a lookout for those.
And with that being said, I ask you to look toward the future, my wonderful audience. It's okay to reflect on the past, but live in the present as well. The future is not set in stone, but I just have one question for you. What's with all these JRPGs starting off with like normal ass people, and then they end up killing a god in the end? Alright, here's the credits. Look beyond the sky.